नमस्ते दोस्तों। आपने जो अभी देखा ये था शब्द फिल्म के खोया खोया था सॉन्ग, जिसमें संजय दत्त के जो कैरेक्टर है, जो एक ऑथर है, उन्होंने एक पर्सोना बनाया। पर्सोना मतलब एक कैरेक्टर बनाया, लीड
Grammarly
कैरेक्टर।
Business features the same premium writing
तो
suggestions.
उसमें वो एक लीड कैरेक्टर बना रहे थे, और उसी प्रोसेस में हम बायर पर्सना या रीडर पर्सना, जैसे कि हम एक ऑथर हैं, तो एक कोई अगर एक ऑथर है तो वो रीडर पर्सना बना सकते हैं, या अगर किसी के पास एक प्रोडक्ट है तो वो बायर पर्सना बना सकते हैं। तो आज हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं पर्सना और उसे कैसे बिल्ड करते हैं। तो पर्सना आर फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर्स, यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं। A persona is in user-centered design and marketing is a fictional character created to represent a user type that might use a site, brand, or product in a similar way. Marketers may use personas together with market segmentation, where the qualitative personas are constructed to be representative of specific segments. तो अगर हम डिटेल में जाएं तो यहाँ पे हम देख सकते हैं कि इसका हिस्ट्री कैसे शुरू हुआ। तो अभी जो सैस कंपनीज है, या फिर कोई भी कंपनी फॉर दैट मैटर, उनके लिए पर्सोना बनाना बहुत जरूरी है। अगर ऑथर भी हैं, जैसे कि मिसाल के तौर पे मैं बताऊं कि अगर मैं जो एक मेमोयर को ऑथर किया था, उसमें मेरा पर्सोना जो था वो एक फैन, जो कि म्यूजिक का फैन है, जो कि लकी अली सॉन्ग्स के फैन है। तो वो एक परफेक्ट पर्सना था। तो अगर हम यहाँ पे हिस्ट्री देखें तो एलन कूपर, a noted pioneer software developer, proposed the concept of a user persona beginning in 1983. तो अगर हम बायर पर्सना के ओरिजिन में भी जाएं तो यहाँ पे द ओरिजिन्स ऑफ बायर पर्सना resides with one man and one man only, Alan Cooper. Alan is considered and revered by many as the founding father of personas and their use for the interaction design of digital products and mediums. तो पर्सोनास के जो बहुत सारे बेनिफिट्स और फीचर्स हैं, जो कि हम आगे जाके डिस्कस करने वाले हैं। द पर्सोना बेनिफिट्स आर समराइज्ड एज फॉलोज। Personas help team members share a specific, consistent understanding of various audience groups. Data about the groups can be put in a proper context and can be understood and remembered in coherent stories. Proposed solutions can be guided by how well they meet the needs of individual user personas. Features can be prioritized based on how well they address the needs of one or more personas. Provide a human face so as to create empathy for the persons represented by the demographics. Help support better design choices by limiting the focus of user for the designers. Help understands what motivates audience to learn more about products or services. While features will vary based on project needs, all personas will capture the essence of an actual potential user. Common features include fake name and profile picture, basic demographics, age, race, gender, education, marital status, preferred language, etc. Biography containing personal interests, professional goals, and any other relevant information designers should know. A summarizing quote, technology use or comfortability, disabilities, accessibility needs or challenges, opinions and beliefs. तो अगर आप पर्सना बनाना मतलब आप पर्सना बनाना चाहेंगे, तो यहाँ पे हम एक एलन कूपर के कोट देख सकते हैं। इफ योर पर्सना हैज गोल्स एंड द प्रोडक्ट हैज मैजिकल पावर्स टू मीट देम, हाउ सिंपल कुड द इंटरेक्शन बी? दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंकिंग इज यूजफुल टू हेल्प डिजाइनर्स लुक आउटसाइड द बॉक्स। तो एक हबस्पॉट में एक टूल है, मेक माई पर्सना। तो यहाँ पे आप पर्सोना बना सकते हैं, और हम रियल टाइम में हम देखेंगे कि मे बी ये फर्स्ट टाइम ट्राई करता हूँ, तो हम देखेंगे कि हम कैसे पर्सोना बनाते हैं और इसमें क्या होता है। तो इससे पहले, तो व्हाई एग्जैक्टली आर बायर पर्सोनास सो इम्पोर्टेंट टू योर बिजनेस? Buyer personas help you understand your customers better. This makes it easier for you to tailor your content, messaging, product development and services to meet the specific needs. और एक चीज है, नेगेटिव पर्सनास, नेगेटिव बायर पर्सनास भी बनाना जरूरी है. While a buyer persona is a representation of your ideal customer, a negative or exclusionary persona is a representation of who you don't want as a customer. For example, this could include professionals who are too advanced for your product or service, students who are only engaging with your content for research or knowledge, or potential customers who are just too expensive to acquire. The potential customers may be too expensive because of a low average sale price, their propensity to churn, or their unlikeliness to purchase again from your company. तो चलिए हम देखते हैं कि कैसे पर्सना हम कर सकते हैं. तो नेम योर पर्सना, तो हम क्या इसमें दें? तो जो नेम है, मेरा फेवरेट कौन है? मेरा फेवरेट, मैं अपना दोस्त का नाम ये इसमें इंक्लूड करूंगा. तो इट विल बी लाइक, नहीं, हम राइटर वसीम, क्यों अवतार, तो वसीम कुछ ऐसा दिखता है. ये मैं स्टेरियोटाइप नहीं करता हूं, बट ओके, इससे आगे क्या होगा? राइटर वसीम. नेक्स्ट स्टेप, what is the highest degree or level of school your person has completed? How old are they? Under 18 years? No. 18 to 24 years? 35, 25 to 34 years रख देते हैं. तो वसीम जो हैं उनको 25 से 34 years. बाय द वे, ऐसा कोई वसीम नहीं है, और राइटर में सिर्फ मतलब अपने प्रोफेशन को मद्देनजर रखते हुए किया. तो एक पर्सना का एक रूल है, मतलब ज्यादातर, जैसे कि एक है कि डेटा साइंटिस्ट, अगर उसका जो एलिटरेशन मतलब बनाना जरूरी रहता है. अगर कोई बोलेगा कि डेटा साइंटिस्ट डेव, तो वो सही सुनाई देता है. या फिर अकाउंटेंट एलिस, तो ऐसे ही मतलब करते हैं. तो इसीलिए, नहीं तो मैं राइटर कुछ भी रख सकता था. राइटर राज, राइटर सुनील. तो व्हाट इज द हाईएस्ट डिग्री और लेवल ऑफ स्कूल योर पर्सना हैज कंप्लीटेड? तो ये राइटर हैं, तो हमने रखा है, तो इट हैज टू बी पीएचडी और मास्टर, समथिंग लाइक दैट. तो चलिए मिसाल के तौर पे, लेस देन अ हाई स्कूल और एसोसिएट डिग्री. नो. इससे आगे क्या हुए? मास्टर्स, डॉक्टरेट, राइट. व्हाट इंडस्ट्री डू दे वर्क इन? तो पब्लिशिंग में. एडवर्टाइजिंग, तो लेट इट बी एडवर्टाइजिंग. व्हाट इज द साइज ऑफ देयर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन? इनको सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयड कर लेते हैं. व्हाट इज देयर जॉब टाइटल? तो एडवर्टाइजिंग में है, तो कॉपी एडिटर. हाउ इज देयर जॉब मेजर्ड? उनका जॉब कैसे मेजर होता है? लेट्स से बाय द लीड and revenue generation. Who do they report to? They report to the creative director, creative head. What are their biggest challenges? Okay, what are their goals and objectives? To increase quality leads and generate higher sales. सो उनका बिगेस्ट चैलेंजेस क्या हो सकता है? Navigating client relationships and communications, that's not his department. Resources, that is also not his department. Employee moral, no. Change management, no. कम्युनिकेशन एक चैलेंज हो सकता है अगर हम ये मान लें कि ही हैज टू बी मोर इफेक्टिव इन टर्म्स ऑफ कम्युनिकेटिंग हिज मैसेज. कोलैबोरेशन एंड क्रिएटिविटी, आइडियली ये नहीं हो सकता है, बट इफ इज लाइक introvert, then collaboration can be a big challenge, can be a challenge. And creativity, like if he is learning the ropes of his profession, then creativity can also be a challenge. Professional development, no. Project management and disorganization, तो क- ये दोनों को हटा के प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट एंड डिसऑर्गेनाइजेशन रख लेते हैं. ये थोड़ा चैलेंजिंग एस्पेक्ट है, एक जो एक क्रिएटिव फील्ड में रहते हैं. Add option. If none of the options ever apply, add one here and press enter. What are their job responsibilities? Uh, Content creation, then proofreading and editing, proofreading and editing of the content. What tools they use or need to do their job. सो उन्हें क्या टूल यूज करना रहता है? कंटेंट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम्स, एक वर्डप्रेस हो गया या वैसा कुछ कंटेंट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम हो गया. तो एडिटर लोग, जो ज्यादातर लोग कंटेंट सीएमएस यूज करते हैं, और ईमेल भी यूज करना रहता है उनको. वर्ड प्रोसेसिंग प्रोग्राम्स भी रहता है, और एक्सेल डाल सकते हैं हम. How do they prefer to communicate with vendors or other businesses? Via email and text messaging, because he's an editor, so let's put these two. उसके बाद चलते हैं their consumption habits. Do they take online courses or go to conferences? So reads a lot, online courses. And what social networks do they belong to? So LinkedIn and Twitter. And since he is a writer, Pinterest भी हम लिख सकते हैं, बट ये दोनों को लेते हैं. नेक्स्ट इज राइट. तो एक पर्सोना बन गया. सो यू कैन सी मिस्टर राइटर वॉशिंग, कॉपी एडिटर, एज इज 25 to 34, एंड हियर हमारा एक पर्सोना बन गया. तो इसको हम यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं. तो इट्स अ वेरी वंडरफुल टूल. HubSpot का जो टूल है, इट्स रियली वंडरफुल. And persona generator, HubSpot's persona generators empowers you to make a difference in how you design campaigns. And तो यहाँ पे FAQs कुछ है. User persona or buyer persona. While the buyer persona is a semi-fictional representation of your ideal customer, the user persona is a representation of the user of your products. A buyer persona can be a user, but that is not always the case. In both personas, the profile is created based on market research and real data from your existing customers. So how to create a buyer persona? अभी हमने बनाया. Gather a mix of information about the kind of customers you want to target. It's best to use a mix of demographic, behavioral, and psychographic information. To collect the data, you can use surveys, interviews, existing paid databases, or even use CRM. The biggest priority, though, is to be specific. Learn about the particular needs and goals of the buyer. Think authentically. Create personas by combining both types of information to create an accurate reflection of the user. Finally, map the persona profile onto your product and highlight how you solve for the user. If you follow these steps, the persona you build will be both accurate and authentic. Buyer persona templates have the potential to add essential structure to this process. तो यहाँ पे जो हमने किया था, fill in your persona's basic demographic information or share what you have learned about their persona's motivations, help your sales team prepare for conversations with your persona, craft messaging for your persona, and how to find interviews for researching buyer personas. ये एक important step है जो कि तो यूज योर करंट कस्टमर्स। अगर आपका कोई करंट कस्टमर्स हैं तो उन्हें आप बुला के उनसे आप इंटरव्यू लीजिए। योर एग्जिस्टिंग कस्टमर बेस इज द perfect place to start your interviews because they have already purchased your product and engaged with your company. At least some of them are likely to exemplify your target persona. Don't just talk to people who love your product and want to spend an hour gushing about you. Number second point to है use your prospects. Be sure to also interview people who have not purchased your product and don't know much about your brand. Your current prospects and leads are great options because you already have their contact information. Use their referrals. You probably also need to rely on some referrals to talk to people who may fit into your target personas, particularly if you are heading into new markets or don't have any leads or customers yet. Use third party networks. For interviewees who are completely removed from your company, there are a few third party networks you can recruit from. Craigslist allow you to post ads for people interested in any job, and usertesting.com allows you to run remote user testing. Tips for recruiting interviewees. So first tip, use incentives. While you may not need them all in all scenarios, incentives give people a reason to participate in an interview if they don't have a relationship with you. A simple gift card is an easy option. Be clear that this isn't a sales call. This is especially important when dealing with non-customers. Be clear that you are doing research and just want to learn from them. You're not getting them to commit to an 1 hour sales call. You're getting them to commit to telling you about their lives, jobs, and challenges. Third, make it easy to say yes. Take care of everything for your potential interview. Suggest times, but be flexible. Allow them to pick a time right off the bat and send a calendar invitation with a reminder to block off their time. Decide how many people you need to interview. So this is also important. It can be start with at least 3 to 5 interviews for each persona you are creating. If you already know a lot about your persona, that may be enough. You may need to do multiple interviews with each category of interviewees. The rule of thumb is when you start accurately predicting what your interview is going to say, it's probably time to stop. Through these interviews, you'll naturally start to notice patterns. Once you start expecting and predicting what your interview will say, that means you have interviewed enough people to find and internalize these patterns. Fifth and last point, determine which questions you will ask interviewers. It's time to conduct the interview. After the normal small talk and thank yous, it's time to jump into your questions. There are several categories of questions you can ask. So before that, you can prepare your questions. So the 20 questions to ask in persona interviews. Role questions. What is your job role, your title? How is your job measured? What does a typical day look like? What skills are required to do your job? What knowledge and tools do you need? Do you use in your job? Who do you report to? Who reports to you? Second type of questions is company questions. In which industry or industries does your company work? जैसे कि हमने देखा ये सब जो हमने वो पर्सनल जनरेटर में डाले थे ना, so we included their industry, who they report to, everything. What is the size of their company, revenue, employees, and goal questions are like, what are they responsible for? What does it mean to be successful in the role? Challenge question is what are the biggest challenges? And watering hole questions are how the person learns new information for their job. What publications or blogs do they read? What associations and social networks do they participate in? Personal background questions is their age, if possible, ask their age, whether they are married, and if they have children. Educational background, what level of education did they complete, what schools did they attend, and what did they study. Their career path, how did they end up where they are today. Shopping preference questions is how do they prefer to interact with vendors. जैसे कि हमने बताया था, हमारे जो राइटर वॉसिम जी थे, hypothetically he was like into email and text messages. And do they use the internet to research vendors or products? If yes, how do they search for information? And ask them to describe a recent purchase. Why did they consider the purchase in the first place, and what was the evaluation process? How did they decide to purchase that product or service? And the next comes the why question. This is the number one tip for a successful persona interview. The follow-up question to pretty much every question in the above list should be why. Through these interviews, you are trying to understand customers or potential customers' goals, behaviors, and motivators. But keep in mind that people aren't always great at reflecting on their behaviors to tell what drives them at the core. So we have created this persona, and here is uh, another site of HubSpot. तो आप इसको बिल्कुल ट्राई कीजिएगा, आपको कुछ नया इंसाइट मिलेगा। तो आप यहाँ पे एक्सप्लोर भी कर सकते हैं व्हाट इज द, और HubSpot के पास ऐसे कुछ टूल्स हैं, इंटरेस्टिंग टूल्स हैं जो कि आप एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हैं। तो उम्मीद करता हूँ दोस्तों कि आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आया होगा। अगर आप पर्सना के बारे में क्यूरियस हैं तो इसी को लेके मैं ये वीडियो एंड करना चाहूंगा। सो विश यू ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट एंड कीप लर्निंग। आप पर्सना बिल्कुल ट्राई कीजिए, और अगर हो सकता है तो आप कमेंट में बताएं कि आपको ये कैसा लगा और क्या इम्प्रूवमेंट्स इस वीडियो में हो सकता है, या क्या क्या टूल्स मैं ट्राई कर सकता हूँ पर्सनल बिल्डिंग के ऊपर। तो प्लीज कमेंट कीजिएगा, और अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा तो प्लीज लाइक एंड शेयर, and please do subscribe. Thank you very much. Have a great day.